On everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Smith, and with me today is a very special guest, Scotty, from none other than Scotty Talks. And Scotty talks about a lot of Philly sports. It is a pleasure to have you on today, Scotty. At Scotty Drown is where you can find him on Twitter. Scotty, why don't you let these people know where they can find you, what you're doing out here? It's a pleasure. The pleasure is seriously all mine to have you on here, Scotty. I know we were talking a little bit before, but I'm pumped up for the show. Let's get it, brother.
I'm with you, Jimmy, and I'm happy to be here, man. I'm glad we finally got connected, and I get to hop on your show here. As far as where you can find me, the content that I'm doing, you can find all my content. I'm actually affiliated with two networks, so I'm with Heat Ratio Sports Network. So if you're into like a variability of sports, that's where you want to go. We got golf, we got basketball, football, baseball, all of the above. I also got my own thing, DSM Media, going with a couple buddies from the Painted Lines. We just got that off the ground, so we're always encouraging everybody to go subscribe there on YouTube. That's DSM Media. You type that in, it'll pop right up, and it'll have all my content. Scotty Talks NBA is what I've been going on recently, covering the Sixers mostly. But as the time goes on and we get closer to football season, definitely going to get into some Eagles talk, and we got a Turf Talk show going on DSM Media as well, which is about the entire NFL. So plenty of content, man. That's where you find me.
Love it. See, ladies and gentlemen, I was not lying to you. This man is putting in the work. And I always try to bring on anybody who's putting in that work, anybody who loves their Philly sports. And Scotty is one of those guys. So be sure to go check him out on all of those platforms. I'll tell you what, since I've started following you, nothing but great things. He's 4 for 4 joining the club. And if you're not, well, we feel sorry for you. But if you are, dude, this is the place to be. You got to go to Scotty, get yourself. I'm telling you what, I was tuned in during the Sixers. I was getting hyped up. You were getting me hyped up. Obviously, we're going to get into that in a second. We're all feeling a little let down. But, dude, if you could still bring the passion, you can still get somebody to want to talk about it. That's what it's all about, dude. And that's what you do. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in today. Any questions or comments, Tony in the chat, what's going on, my man? Any of you guys, any questions you have, any comments you want to make, you have a question for Scotty, please feel free. Drop them in the chat, and we will try to get to them tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Sixers' downfall, but then we're going to try to pump you up, talk about this Eagles all season and the upcoming season. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get to it. Now, Scotty, you are what I would consider quite a Sixers expert, man. You really know what's going on with the team. I really love following you this season. And I'll be real with you. I'm still reeling from it. I'm trying not to, but I felt like this was the year, man. Nets are gone. Lakers are gone. I'm feeling up here, and now I'm just really down here. Man, what was your initial thoughts? I mean, we'll get into a little bit about the players individually, what you thought, but I mean, what were your thoughts on this team? And what do you think for the future? Is it break it down? Or do you think run it back? What are your thoughts on the Sixers downfall here?
Yeah, so I'll just start, kind of from the beginning. As we came into that Sixers season, I mean, I didn't have them ranked very high. We were coming off that just big mess with Al Horford. Was really worried. They traded him, got Danny Green, who wasn't lighting it up with the Lakers, but he did help them win a championship. But as the season went on, we saw how huge the moves just the minimal moves that Daryl Morey made in that short offseason, bringing in Seth Curry, bringing in Danny Green, bringing in Dwight Howard. And then the draft as well. He picked up some young studs. I mean, Tyrese Maxey at the 21st pick. Then you even look down the line at guys like Paul Reed, who have a lot of, they built a lot of fandom, just by playing for the Blue Coats in Delaware. But, as far as just the overall season for the Sixers, I'm with you. It was the first time we got the 1 seed in 20 years since we had AI in the finals. And to end the season that way in the second round to the Atlanta Hawks, man, I mean, you can't get any more disappointed than what we are as Sixers fans here. And you laid it out there. The Nets got knocked out by the Bucks. I mean, you saw LeBron get knocked out in the first round. So all of those, NBA giant legends that were left in the playoffs, they weren't there. Kawhi's out. You look across the way at the Western Conference. You're looking at the Suns. The Suns are playing great, but they were never in this situation. They've never been here before. So I was looking at, and maybe that's what the Sixers were doing too. We were looking way too far down the line, missed what was right in front of us, which was the Atlanta Hawks. And let's give some credit to Trae Young and that group. They're way better than expected, but disappointing, man. I'm so disappointed. We wasted a huge opportunity here. And you just never know. You know what I mean? Injuries, everything that goes into the season. And you just never know when you're going to get that type of home court advantage again. I mean, we lost 3 home games in the second round. We only lost 7 all season. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that just, blows my mind. I don't know how it happened. You look at just the collapse of the team. It looked more like a mental collapse than an actual talent thing. So I think to answer your last question there, going into the offseason, going into next season, it's a little bit of both. You got to tear a little bit of it down and kind of still while building up on what you built this year. So we could get into whatever you want to get into next, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, I like what you said there, Scotty. Disappointed. It's a great word to use because you mentioned all of that. The first time in 20 years that we were the number 1 seed. And dude, I was just a little boy playing on my Dreamcast with Iverson. It's like, damn, dude. You had it all in front of you. You mentioned, Nets, Lakers, all of it's right there on the table. And maybe they were doing the same thing as us. So I love what you said there. And it just really hurts. Don't want to use excuses, but you mentioned the great job that Morey did. So we look at it. Okay, he was kind of rushed in here at the end even,
Yeah.
So it's like he didn't even have that much time. He brought in George Hill midway through the season. I love what you said about Paul Reed, Maxey, huge fan, Isaiah Joe, even a lot of these guys showing stuff on the Blue Coats that really impressed me, and then getting a little chance with the Sixers with some injuries. But I loved it, man. I really loved what this team was building. But to go out in the second round like that, and you said it, all respect to ice in your veins, Mr. Dude, Trae Young's nasty. And it sucks, seeing him taunt us and all that. But hey, man, we should have played better. For them to come into our house, like you said, 3 home losses. What are you doing? And in Game 7, I was like, we're home. Okay, we're safe. That's the one thing.
They lost 3 home games in a row,
right? And that was the one thing the past couple of years, right? At least we were winning at home. For some reason, we couldn't. But now COVID, everything was weird. So we thought, okay, home field advantage, we got this, right? Can't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay. So what do you do now? You've said a little bit of both. So you're looking, all right, elephant in the room. Everybody wants to talk about it. We know. Ben Simmons, Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. This guy, he's talented, but he does not score. Looks like he gets scared in the moments where you need him the most. How are you feeling about the 24-year-old? Do you think with Doc there, is there room to grow? Do you think you move on and try to get something? And what do you think his trade value is? Because I'm seeing some outlandish stuff out there. You're not just giving away this kid for nothing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and so the way you ended that question there is exactly kind of where I'm at. I'm definitely looking. I'm interested to see what's out there, what's available for Ben Simmons. As far as just giving him away, no, I'm not trading him just to get him off the team type of thing.
Yeah.
I definitely would want some value back because I think at the end of the day, he's a guy. He's 24 years old. He has a ton of potential. To be frank with you about him, where he's at in his career, I'm completely torn. I don't know what mentally he's going on with what's going on with him. Everybody made a huge deal in that Game 7 about the passing out of, an obvious layup or dunk that he had there. And it wasn't really just because of that play or that play changing the game. It just really showed you where his mental state was at as far as an offensive player, and he was broken.
Yep.
And as far as, kind of getting him in next year and like seeing if he can, kind of get better with Doc, my only thing with that is that he kind of got worse, down the stretch with Doc. And, we have our question marks about Doc even, to where I'm to the point where I don't even want him to have to like develop Ben Simmons. I would rather just bring in somebody that's going to help the team already.
I was hoping you'd go there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
A personal coach for him, right? He's got to get it up here.
Yeah. And I think, with mental block like that, in a professional athlete, Philadelphia is not the city for you. I'm sorry. Our fans, they're passionate and they're dedicated. And what comes with that is accountability. And so there's no pity parties here in Philadelphia. If you're going through stuff in life and having a mental breakdown in the second round of the playoffs, nobody in Philly cares, man.
No.
It's not that they don't care. I shouldn't phrase it that way. We don't have time for it because we're building towards a championship here. And my thing is, it looks like Ben Simmons is on a way different path than what Joel Embiid is as far as their career development. Yep. And we just don't have time for that right now. So I think the key for Ben Simmons specifically, get him in a market, a little market, small town. I'm thinking, the likes of like OKC, Cleveland, teams like that, where he can use a year just to fix his game and he doesn't have to worry about winning. As far as the team, I'm looking for value out there. I've seen some, mock trades, not really interested in me. And I don't think anybody that's doing these trade machines right now have any idea what type of marketability that Ben Simmons is hoisting right now.
Yeah.
This guy is, like you said, he was a defensive player of the year candidate this year, only lost to Rudy Gobert, three-time All-Star, all-defensive team. You don't just give away that guy. And he's obviously a great facilitator. He did at one point. He was able to be a great driver in the lane, lost his confidence with the free throw shooting. But once again, it's mental. I think they can fix it. They can get it over the hump. We just don't have time for it here. We're on a path, and we need to do whatever it takes to get us further along that path.
I love what you said there, man. You could hear it in what you were saying. You're torn. I mean, I'm so torn myself. I'm not somebody that's going to go to bat for him nonstop, but I'm also somebody that's not going to bash him. I tried to be there for him, but you're right. It wasn't just that game. It was all that was leading up to that. And then at that moment, that was icing on the cake for a lot of people. And it really stood out to the people that were standing for him. Now, for someone like you and I, where it's like, you temper your expectations, what he can be, but he isn't there yet. And what infuriates everyone is the fact that he could be better. And you said it, we don't have the time for you to be playing video games. And look, I don't care what you do on your free time. Yeah. You're human beings, please. But literally, you hear about the stories he's playing before the game. He's doing all these things. And it's like, dude, go out and shoot some free throws. Seriously? Get your head right. And I'm not telling you what to do, but if you want to be one of the best ever, and you're putting it on us to pay you and the fans to come out and expect you to do something like be a superstar, well, you should at least be dunking or doing something when it's right in front of you. So you said it. He lost his confidence. So Joel Embiid, you mentioned him. He seems to be going in the opposite direction. I think he's really growing into that person he needs to be. Obviously, some of those injury things still get us a little concerned. But, dude, he just keeps getting better. He looks like Dirk Nowitzki. As I'm a kid, dude, that was the shot I tried to emulate, and I completely sucked at it. But, dude, he's out there. That 1 foot shot, fade away. Yeah. He's amazing. He looks, and they say Hakeem Olajuwon. They say, and, dude, I don't like to compare people to some of the greatest of all time, but after a few years, it's like, okay, no, you're right. He could be better because he does everything. So do you think we build around him? And I know you said you're torn too, because you got to get what's right for Ben Simmons. So, I mean, some people are talking about trading Joel Embiid. That's, to me, preposterous. You have to keep him. That's the piece you keep. Yeah.
So, honestly, if you would have talked to me maybe like a year and a half ago, I probably would have said the same thing. I would have been talking about building around Ben Simmons and how his longevity is best suited for the team. No more. After I saw this jump from Joel Embiid and seeing what he can really do when he's locked in and focused on basketball, no way I'm trading this guy. He's a freak of nature. The efficiency and the touch that he garners as a 7'2", 200, close to 300-pound man, it's what you said. It's unstoppable. And, you compared some guys in there, and like you said, I don't like to throw names out there, comparisons. Some of those shots he hit are very Kobe-like. I mean, the fadeaways from the post, that has Kobe all over. Scary. You see a little bit of it from Devin Booker as well, but it's unguardable. And where I'm at with Embiid is you got to do whatever it takes to build around him. The first thing that I'm telling Embiid, if I'm in that coaching staff, if I'm Daryl Morey, if I'm Elton Brand, you got to stop falling, my man. He falls way too much. I get it. He's trying to sell the calls. But as you saw in the playoffs, he was starting not to get those calls anyways. Him and Morey kind of complained about that in their ending press conferences about big guys not getting the same calls as guards. And you saw that in the series clearly where Trae Young was getting all the calls he wanted. Joel Embiid was getting raped across the chest on a fast break, and there was no call, and the guy even raised his hand for a foul. So all that flopping and stuff, he has to stop that, because I do think, just the extra impact of hitting the ground all the time, not good for a guy that gets injured a little too often for my liking. But yeah, I think as far as the mindset of the Sixers, it has to be centered around Joel Embiid now. You cannot worry about Ben Simmons. And that doesn't mean trade him for pennies, but that means do not worry about his well-being necessarily versus the well-being of the team and Joel Embiid. You have to build it around Joel Embiid correctly, and the rest it doesn't matter. You trade Ben, get what you can for him. And yeah, that's about all I got for you on Joel Embiid. He's the truth, man. You guys saw it. He's a MVP runner-up, and he deserves all the love that he gets. You just hope that he keeps building, keeps getting in better shape.
Yep. And I love what you said there. You have to focus, if you're the Sixers management right now on winning with Joel Embiid, because you talked about it. His longevity is the question mark. And it's like, okay, well, how many years is he going to be healthy? I hope. We all hope for the next 10 years, but who knows? So win now. So if you got to trade Ben Simmons to get some shooters here to build around Embiid, you got to do whatever it takes right now. So the last piece I'm going to talk about could be someone, he's got a hefty contract, plays a lot better than most people think, but in the playoffs, people were really, really starting to, I think, pay attention to what he's always been to me. He's that average guy getting paid way too much. Had a great year, stepped in at times when Embiid was hurt. Tobias Harris. I like the guy, but what are your thoughts? A lot of people are pissed. They want him going. Do you think we try to package him, move him out?
So, it's one of those things, like, if you're able to get, if you were like somehow able to package like Ben and Tobias and get like a superstar in return, or, if you ended up, moving, maybe you move Tobias instead of Ben even, you know what I mean? So, what I would say about Tobias, he's exactly what you said. He's the guy that I saw a tweet today, and it described him perfectly. If you need 10 points, Tobias will get you 18. And if you need 30 points, Tobias will get you 18.
Sounds like my DFS plays with him.
He's not average. He's a good player. He's not a max contract player, but I just don't see him, evolving into something else. He put out a very heartwarming, message to Philly fans saying he's going to go to the next. I don't think at that stage in your career, I don't know if he can get to another level. I don't know what he could add to his game. He's kind of just simply misses pure athleticism. I mean, you saw it in that Atlanta series where he's getting stuffed at the rim by John Collins. He's missing layups, missing dunks. So that type of stuff, you can't really, I don't know if you can improve your athleticism, at that age of getting close to 30. But we'll see. But what I would say about Tobias is that he's not part of my untouchable. When I look at this Sixers team, I really look at the team, and I look at Joel Embiid, and I look at Seth Curry, who had an amazing playoff run. Those are the only guys that are untouchable for me. And the only reason I put Seth Curry in there is because his contract is very friendly.
Yes.
So when you get that type of production out of this guy, you don't want to get rid of him. There's no point in that. And you got plenty of other pieces. Now, guys like Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey, those young guys I do love. But if you're talking about the difference in a trade for like Damian Lillard, you might need to. I'll fill in wherever I need to, and
I'll come help you move if you get me Dame.
Exactly. And if you bring in a Damian Lillard, if you bring in a Bradley Beal, if you bring in even a Zach LaVine, that's going to draw in veteran buyouts, just like you saw with the Brooklyn Nets this year. So about filling in depth and filling in your roster, you're going to get guys that want to come to your team when you make a move like that.
Truth. And people like Doc and, fans have their thoughts and, whatever. But you're right. You bring in a stud, other people are going to follow. They know Joel Embiid is one of the best, especially if you're a backup center like Dwight Howard did this year. Like, oh, yeah. You just get to chill. And if he gets hurt, he'll play a little bit. But I think, you hit the nail on the head with that. And we definitely got to look into moving some pieces, and I know Daryl Morey will. I was not with Maxey moving for Lowry last year, but what you said, if you can get me Damian Lillard, I don't give a heck. I don't care who you trade, just not Joel Embiid.
And to your point about Tobias, if you can get him out of here and just release the funds, so
that would be huge.
See what I mean? Like Ben Simmons, I'm not doing that. But with Tobias, I would be kind of open to just freeing up that cap
Buying him
space
out, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, just go after another all-star, that could fill in his spot. The main thing with Tobias is that I think we were trying to use him as a number 2 guy. He's not a number 2 guy. He's more like a 3 or 4 guy. And if you can move him down that pecking order to where he's a 3 or 4 guy, then sure, we can keep him if we bring in the right guys. But I'm totally open to moving him as well, if I'm completely honest.
Same. And I think, this team would have looked a lot better if the bench was a little more improved. So it was just a few pieces they attempted to at the trade deadline, got Hill, but not much more than that. I think heading in the right direction with Morey at the helm, he knows that, and he's going to take care of things this year. So, dude, I love what you said there. Talked about all those guys. Doc Rivers being on the hot seat as well. He definitely is. I don't think he goes anywhere this year, but that was unacceptable. Just the formations he was putting in. Unacceptable. So
hockey shifts, man, full on bench unit.
Like
the second
it reminds me of playing like NBA when I'm a kid, just because I want to put all my fun players in. I'm going to switch lines in. Like, what is
seriously,
it?
Seriously, man, it was And you saw it in the fourth quarter of Game 7. That's when I was like, okay, somebody needs to get this under control.
Shake Milton coming in, he hasn't played all game.
Like, the whole game makes 0 sense.
Okay, so apparently he's the Tyrese Maxey the other day. It doesn't just work like that, Doc. We all know that, but it is what it is, and I don't want to be depressed anymore. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I had to bring Scotty on to talk because, dude, I love your thoughts on it, and I couldn't agree more with what you were saying there.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I'm optimistic about the Sixers. As disappointing as it is, you're not in a bad spot. That's the thing to keep in mind here.
You got pieces to move, right? We've got talented guys.
Exactly.
I loved what you said. I wasn't going to mention this, but my pop was talking to me the other day, and he was pissed about the game. And, he was like, what could we get for him? Who are we going to trade him to? And I was like, he started saying who would be interested. And I was like, well, that's great. And I said about, maybe a smaller marketplace. And I said, what about San Antonio with one of the greatest coaches of all time? Yeah. And I said, what if, anyone could teach him, maybe Greg Popovich could turn him into that power forward he should be. And I know it was attempted, but maybe the right coaching, obviously with Tim Duncan and having David Robinson there. I mean, he knows what he's doing, but my pop really liked that idea. And when you mentioned that, I was like, you guys were on the same track of what you were saying to me about him. And I love it, dude. So
what we have to remember with Ben Simmons and basketball and any sport, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So somebody could be looking at Ben Simmons saying, well, this guy isn't too far off from the 18-year-old that came in from LSU. We could take him in as a 24-year-old. Let's build him up, and he has a great future. You know how we felt when we got Ben Simmons. There's people out there that probably feel like that looking at this guy. Like, let's get him out of Philly. Let's fix him. You got, a log jam in the post there with Joel Embiid. Tobias works out of the post. So there was really no room for Ben Simmons to grow in the regular season either. So I just think the fit is off, honestly. That's what it comes down to.
Yep. You had to get a real point guard. Maxey could be that guy, and you just got to really think about it, and you're right, the fit. So maybe you move Tobias out, like you had said. Maybe you just move him, keep Simmons and Embiid, get a real point guard. You have Maxey, but get a stud like Dame, and holy shit, you're headed to the promised land.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I love it, dude. I love it. So that's what we have to speak about on the Sixers. We're sorry if it brought up some bad memories for you guys, but we have faith in our Sixers, and we're looking forward to the future. But the Birds, baby, that's as soon as that game was over, I made a post and I was like, all right, who's ready for some Eagles football? Because I can't deal with being down like that, man. I'm trying to be positive and I just don't want to feel that pain. So, dude, I'm very optimistic about our Birds. I get it. A lot of people are pessimistic and it sucked. Doug Peterson's gone. Carson Wentz. A lot of people love them. I loved them, but things were wrong. They were off. Yeah. There was a disconnect. There was no accountability, as we talked about, that we fans hold them to. So we needed change. We needed desperately. And obviously, and I said this last year, sad thing is, it's going to be Howie Roseman still standing. He is. It is what it is, guys. We have to hope that this new coaching staff, the new quarterback, who seems like he's the Terminator when he walks out, driven to whoop your ass. And I can't wait to see it, man. I'm optimistic. And we've got, we were going on for the Sixers forever. I love it. But take your time, do whatever you got. Dude, I want to hear your thoughts on the Eagles. What are your thoughts on Nick Sirianni, this new coaching staff? And obviously, we have no idea. But are you feeling optimistic? And, of course, the new QB1, Jalen Hurts. What do you think about him? How'd you feel about the draft? Like in general, how are you feeling about this upcoming season, man?
Yeah. So all great questions. And as far as the Eagles, man, I'm with you. I've kind of laid low key. I'm usually very loud Eagles fan, and usually overly confident. Maybe it was the Sixers deep playoff run that was kind of had my focus off, but I'm just kind of laying low this year. I'm gonna go in, humble, but low key. I am feeling very optimistic, and down inside of me, I can feel there's something special building here. These guys got the right mindsets coming into this team. You look at guys like Devontae Smith; they're coming to work, and I'm super excited about this year. As far as Nick Sirianni, I know he's gotten ragged on about his press conferences. I don't care about any of that. It's all about the way he communicates with his team and the relationships that he builds in that locker room at the end of the day. And what I do like about him is how he breaks it down even for us. So imagine how deep in depth he's getting down with these players and breaking it down for them. And he always talks about making it simple. And that's a lot of what I saw last year we weren't doing. You don't have to overthink it. You do a wide receiver screen to Greg Ward, you're overthinking it. Do the wide receiver screen to the guy that's fit for the wide receiver screen. Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, those are the guys that you do that with. So all we really needed was somebody that's going to come in, do play action pass, run the football. These are all very simple things that we needed instituted here. And I think it's going to be fun because they're coming in with low expectations. But the thing is, I looked at the schedule, man, and you never know what you're going into. Obviously, you can't base everything off last season. But this schedule isn't too crazy after those first 5-6 games. Yep. You're looking at the rest of the schedule is NFC East, and then you got like the Lions, Raiders, Jets, a couple teams mixed in there. So the schedule isn't against us. The division is always just a toss-up. I know people are high on the Washington football team. They're high on the Cowboys, and some are even high on the Giants. But I don't think we're that far off. And I get everybody wants to disrespect us. They always want to talk their crap about Philly. But I think we might open some eyes this year. And maybe that's just the optimistic in me. But I'm with you. I think Jalen Hurts, the presence, right? It's not just the on field, but it's his work ethic, it's his presence, it's everything that he puts into it. And I think, on the other side of that, a dual threat quarterback is just the way the NFL is working towards these days. It makes your offense that much more unpredictable. And I'm excited, man. Young wide receiver group finally. You got a young running back group. The offensive line is looking very healthy. You added in Landon Dickerson in there just to create some depth. And I'm excited, man. Our offensive line was one of the best in the league. They were beat up all last season.
People forget.
People forget it, man. And I know everybody was ragging on Carson Wentz, which I'm with you. I loved Carson Wentz, but I thought it was time to go. Yep. But imagine if that offensive line doesn't go down as early as they did last year. Maybe none of this is happening. You got Brandon Brooks back. You get Lane back. Jason Kelsey's coming back healthy. And then you got you established a guy like Jordan Mailata. You still got Andre Dillard there. There's so much depth there. Yep. And I'm excited, man. And we can maybe touch on the defense a little bit, but
yeah, I was gonna say if you got a few minutes extra, we'll definitely go past the 30-minute mark. Awesome. I didn't want to jam all that in there, but dude, we kept going about the Sixers. I love it, man.
I know, man. I know.
I'll be real with you. The way you could have made things easier was run the effing ball. I talked about getting that tattooed on my forehead the last few years because it was driving me insane. I was getting sick of saying it. You got Miles Sanders, who was third in the league last year in yards per touch at one point, and we were running the ball 35% of the time. Are you shit? You got to be kidding me, dude. Yeah. So we come out here passing the ball all the time. These teams know what we're going to do. We're setting NFL records for the most NFL starting lines like in a year. That's insane. So This year, we change it all up. You said it. Offensive line is healthy. We are going to run the ball. Imagine being a defense. Look, imagine if we even use split backs. You got Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell in the backfield. Oh, shit. They can both run. They can both catch the ball. Oh, yeah. And the quarterback, if he doesn't hand it off or pass it to him, he can run too. And then there's Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert. Don't think Ertz is here, but we've got some weapons. And if that offensive line stays healthy, baby, oh, watch out, ladies and gentlemen. The birds are coming. So I love it. We got Parchero, Joey, and Christina in the chat. They are getting pumped, letting you know, Scotty, that they're feeling your energy, baby. And look, we don't know what's going to happen. And I'm very optimistic, but I'm also tempering my expectations. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl here. I'm expecting to sit down on Sunday and this team to hold each other accountable, to have a leader that comes out on Sundays and effing fights. I want the yin and the yang. You got Nick Sirianni, who's Ted Lasso out there, and Jalen Hurts, the Terminator. We're coming to whoop your ass. And I'm telling you, this team is going to shock a lot of people. Saw it in the chat, and I've been preaching it for months, and I love it. I just want to see that optimism. And like you said, something special is brewing here, and I can't wait to see it. And where I think really special is coming. I've talked about what would this defense look like? The multiple fronts, multiple schemes possibly. Finally get to hear from Jonathan Gannon, and that's what he says. He talks about depends on the matchup. That's how it should be. Jim Schwartz, not bringing your damn picket fence every effing play. So we come out and we attack and we go based on matchups. That got me beyond excited to hear from Gannon. So, dude, please let me hear your thoughts on this defense, on some of the picks we got there. Because 6 out of 9 of our draft picks were defensive players. So you got a Milton Williams, a Zach McPherson. You got a lot of players, even Teron Jackson, I'm pumped up about. So getting excited. What are your thoughts on this defense? Do you think we're going to head back to our old ways of destroying people against the run? I know that the outside corner is iffy, but you added a Kerrigan to help with the pass rush. A lot of great stuff happening here. What are your thoughts on this defense?
Yes, and I think that is probably, I guess you could say it's the question mark, but I'm excited, man. And I saw the front seven last year. If they can just increase the all-around physicality, which I think they did by the people that they brought in, I'm excited. You mentioned Zach McPherson, the outside corner that they brought in during the draft. I'm excited about him. He's a nice, lengthy corner. I like his fit beside Darius Slay. I'm with you. I think if they could pick something up late in free agency, maybe after, if they're able to move Zach Ertz, whatever they're doing there, if they can create some space, bringing in some type of veteran corner just to solidify that other side of the football there, I think that would really solidify the defense. The one concern, I guess, no, because we got Anthony Harris too. So I was going to say safety. You hope Rodney McLeod comes back from that injury, but you still got guys like Kayvon Wallace back there, young guys that are pretty talented. That didn't get much of a chance last year. I'm excited, man. The defensive line is obviously just the power of the unit, right? Like you look at that line. You mentioned Milton Williams, Teron Jackson. You're bringing back Derek Barnett. You got Brandon Graham still there. Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave should finally get it going. You'll get a full offseason, get a full healthy offseason, get ready for the season there. I'm excited. They brought in the one linebacker, Wilson, from the Vikings. I think he's, a buy low, low, I guess you would call it low risk, high reward type of signing with him. And I liked what he did in Minnesota as far as in the coverage. And I thought that's where our linebackers really lacked last year. Alex Singleton showed us some stuff last year. I really like him. You don't like him as like your main linebacker, right? But he's a nice guy. He works hard. He plays hard. And that's a guy that you like to fill in there occasionally. But, I would say I don't know if I'm more high on the offense just because it's so simple, the fixes that I saw with the offense, I guess.
Yeah, the line.
Yeah. But then you think about last season, it's like if you fix the offense, then it helps the defense too. It takes pressure off the defense. So many times last year, we don't really get to know and see what our defense really is because Carson Wentz turned the ball over ridiculously.
Seriously.
So
Fields, yep.
Yeah, you're turning the ball over. You're putting your defense in a bad situation. So they're going to give up points. It's going to happen when you're playing from your own territory from the start of the series. But yeah, I guess my question marks are more with the defense just because of that secondary. But at the same time, I think by running the football, controlling the clock, the offense can help the defense. I would just like them to add in another corner there, just maybe a veteran presence to kind of lead some of these young guys. You still have Avonte Maddox out there. Maybe he'll play the slot. I don't know what their plan is for him either. But how are you feeling as far as the secondary in the defense?
Man, I love what you said. The Ant Harris addition to me was a great pickup. And along with all of the free agent pickups, Howie Roseman did a great job of whatever numbers, people look at for, it doesn't matter. What we need to look at is the cap.
Yeah.
All these guys are under 2 million, some even under $1 million. So that's awesome, especially a guy like Ant Harris, who just a year ago, not last season, he fell off a little, but that whole team fell off. You talk about, it's a team game here, and you don't really always get to gauge things when the team sucks. So exactly. I think coming here, it's perfect for him. Reunited with Jonathan Gannon, used to work together with Minnesota. I think that's fantastic for him. You mentioned Kayvon Wallace. Really need to see him step it up. So if Rodney's not ready, then you have Ant Harris play free safety, and you got Kayvon at strong safety. If Rod's ready, then you got Rod at free safety, Ant Harris at strong safety. So I like that there. At Marcus Epps, he stepped in and played well last year, surprisingly. So there's and Graylin Arnold, but he's more of a defensive back that can play. He's how I see Avonte Maddox. Let him help out in certain matchups. He's no starter. But let's be real. The thing I see here is I loved the Zach McPherson pick. A guy that can play outside, inside, man, zone. He can do it all. I've spoke so highly of him these last couple months where I think that he will get more than one pick six. I know that's a lot to put on somebody, but I think this kid's going to be on the field and be making plays, something we're not used to these past few years, which pisses me off. We want to see turnovers. We need the defense to win the turnover battle. And I think not only is Gannon as a coach going to do that, but he's going to put these corners in certain situations where, yes, we'll be predominantly, I think, a zone for the most part. And I think Zach McPherson's going to feast. I would just love to see him inside. He's got that quickness, that straight line speed, where I think he can stick with some of these inside guys. But like you say, he can play outside.
That's what we need.
I'm just concerned that he's a rookie, man. And I think Gannon's a great coach and going to really help him. But I don't want to throw him in the fire and, ruin his mind here, because Philly will eat him apart. You suck if he doesn't become the greatest ever his first game. So I don't want to see Zach out there. And if he has to start, it would be inside. But my thought is you bring in someone like a Steven Nelson. You have Nelson and Slay starting, and then you have Avonte Maddox for the beginning of the year. He can start inside. You allow McPherson to grow. He gets his snaps, and then one day he's just like, yeah, you're not the starter anymore. So I think if you have somebody just to help McPherson grow, I think McPherson could be the outside corner of the future. I don't want to hinder his growth.
Don't want to throw him out there. Yeah.
So I like the secondary, man. It's just I would like it a lot more if we had a damn outside corner and that was a veteran.
You have to solidify that. And you mentioned the perfect candidate. I mean, Steven Nelson, he's a guy, I can't believe he's still a free agent. But there's a lot of guys out there that are still looking for jobs. You still got Richard Sherman out there. I don't know. You do have to sign somebody. I think you got to bring in a veteran. You mentioned all the young guys in the secondary. So you kind of shore that up with a veteran, bringing them in.
And I think they do.
Yeah, and I do too. They're not done. The offseason isn't over. Obviously, some of these guys are going to have to pick a team eventually to sign with. So somebody may fall in our lap, and we may be very happy going into the season. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it can only get better. We saw the philosophies, the schemes from Jim Schwartz. Nobody liked those, right? Like that doesn't fit Philly. I mean, you go from a guy like Jim Johnson, to Sean McDermott, and down the line, it's like we were about pressure. We were about physicality back in the days where I grew up as an Eagles fan, what I came into in my young days. So as far as seeing just this like soft defense and then, just the sticks 15 yards off the ball. I mean, nobody's going to make a play like that. You can't. Not in the NFL. It just doesn't work. And
I wanted to strangle him every time.
And I'm with you. I'm with you, dude. And the same thing goes for the offense. It's very just simple fixes, and I think people are sleeping on that. I know I complained about the coaching all last year. I complained about it entirely, even when Carson was in there turning the ball over.
Rightfully so.
I thought they weren't doing things to help their players.
Got to adjust,
man. I think that's something that Nick Sirianni and the rest of his coaching staff have talked about all offseason since they've been hired, is making the scheme fit their players, not making their players fit the scheme.
Exactly.
It's very simple, and I think that's the way today's NFL should and will work. And I think we brought in a young, talented head coach that should be able to bring this out in this team.
Yeah, I think, you perfectly said it there. He's riding that wave of, what this new NFL is looking like. And I've been trying to stress that to people where, he's too young, this, that. It's like, what? I'm thinking a lot of these guys are too old to be coaches. Doug Peterson couldn't even adjust, and he was only a head coach for a few years. So, hey, I liked what Sirianni was doing with Frank Reich over in Indianapolis. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. He brings in Shane Steichen, who was just working with Herbert. You got Kevin Patullo brought over. You brought Brian Johnson from Florida. You got guys that really excite me, that are working with quarterbacks that excite me. So I want to see what they do with Jalen Hurts. I think this kid's only getting better. People try to, I saw him play 3 games and then a half game and a half game, and that's 4 together. I know exactly what his career is. And it's like, I don't, because he didn't have a preseason. There was the weirdest offseason ever. He got thrown into the fire. Carson Wentz couldn't even do good in this offense. So how the hell is some rookie going to do good in this offense? So let's see what it looks like with a healthy offensive line and a new coaching staff that will run the ball. Can't stress how much that helps your quarterback.
Exactly.
It drives me insane, man. But that you talked about it, that having a good defense too is going to help you. So, Kerrigan, Jackson, Tuipulotu, even, dude, this line is gonna be nasty, dude. I just feast. And we won the Super Bowl. You brought in Chris Long and Michael Bennett, and dude, we had Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby as our corners. Like, huh? So I don't want to go into the season looking like that, but you can get things done when you get to the quarterback. And that's, dude, we were 3rd last year in sacks per game. Might not have been great against the run, but we added to this room. And guys are healthy. They stay healthy, we're going to feast. So
exactly, man. I'm excited.
I love your optimism, man. You're getting me more damn excited about this damn season. Jock Talk, what's going on? All of you guys in the chat, thank you for throwing the comments out here. I've been having a great time. We're 12 minutes over because we can't stop talking our Philly sports, baby. And that's what it's all about.
Gotta love it, man.
Yeah, before we get rolling out, man, I truly appreciate everything you had to say. I did want to pop up this graphic here. A lot of talk out there that the Eagles don't have any cap space. I think what people are doing is when you sign a rookie, they're taking it off the cap. You don't do that. It's only it's the top 51 contracts that matter against the cap.
Yeah.
You just replace our top 3 rookies with the bottom 3 numbers. That's all that's happening here with the rookie signings. Right now, without Dickerson signing, this is the cap space we have. We still have almost $5 million. Once we actually sign Dickerson, we're still going to have around $4 million. We talked about the fact that Howie has been keeping all these veteran signings under $2 million. Well, that looks to me that he could sign 1 or 2 of those veterans that we need. So excited for this next couple months. And look, just in this month, moves could be made, as Scotty had mentioned. We've been talking about it for months here, guys. Let's try to play patience this offseason. Yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. These huge free agents aren't coming. It needs to be done in the draft. You mentioned it. We got a stud in the draft and also have a 1st-round pick because we moved back and then moved up. So we got almost 3 1st-round picks if Carson, follows through. So,
and you just touched on something that I didn't even touch on, and that's what I was, at the end of last season, as we saw that Carson trade happen, immediately 2022 was a light at the end of the tunnel, man. And no matter what you get at, and maybe that's why it feels so good going into this season, all you can have is optimism, is because even if you lose and get a better draft pick, like, all right, like this isn't the year that I think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl, but I feel like this is the year where I'm going to see this team take giant steps as far as, just developing their young players, which with Doug, we just did not see that. And that's part of the excitement, having coaches that are hands-on. They're going to develop these players. Hopefully we finally get something out of that wide receiver room, some type of development there. You brought in a stud in Devontae Smith. Hopefully they can groom him well and better than the last regime. But 2022, you're looking at cap space. You're looking at possibly 3 1st-round picks. I mean, it's lining up beautifully. So even if, let's say Jalen Hurts falls flat on his face, you have ammo there to go out and get a quarterback that you want. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to fall flat on his face, but if it happens, you have insurance there. And kudos, you have to give a little bit to Howie. As much as we crucify him, you have to give him credit when he gets stuff like that done. So light at the end of the tunnel is 2022, no matter how bad or good this season is.
Guys, that's how you have to look at it. That's how I'm able to have that optimistic viewpoint, because you can't go into this season expecting all these crazy great things to happen. I think a lot of great things are going to happen that are going to surprise people, but it's new coach, new quarterback, his first year being the starter. I think temper your expectations, but also get excited because it's going to be nuts. But you talk about, we got to get this receiver room going. That's why you get a new coaching staff that has done nothing but work with quarterbacks, receivers. All of his assistants have worked with quarterbacks, receivers. It's like, I think, and what's crazy is we're going to run the ball so much, but that's going to open up this passing game, and people are going to be petrified if we're running the ball with our quarterback or our scary running backs, adding Kerryon Johnson and Jordan Howard to duke it out in the offseason. Yes. And I talked about Kenny Gainwell. I was dreaming of Gainwell in the draft. Him and Felton, I was like, I'll take either one.
Gainwell fall to us?
Bro, I don't know, and I don't care because he's ours. Yo, dude, I was like, is this wait, he's still what? We have dude, what? I literally was losing my mind. I think we're gonna get a nice dose, just like Indianapolis did, pounding that rock. Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. We got guys that fit those roles, and that's gonna open it up. You've got, and I wrote an article actually in January about why we should draft Devontae Smith at 6, because I thought Chase and Pitts would be gone. And I'm telling you, I just figured you had an next receiver. It just might make Jalen Reagor better. Now, I'm being facetious because it will. He is going to get much better, and he was not utilized. I love what you said earlier. What you're using Greg Ward for, use Jalen Reagor. Same with punts. I don't just give the kid the ball. They're going to utilize all of their players to their strengths, and you would think, like, oh, that's pretty simple. Wouldn't every coach do that? We didn't. Doug Peterson did not do that. So I love what you said. This coaching staff's going to utilize these players, and it's going to make everybody better having a Devontae Smith. My God. And
route running, everything. I mean, pure hands. I mean, he's the whole package. I'm really excited about that. But just to feed off like what you were saying, it's as simple as, we look at last season, like, it was a disastrous, 4-win season, but there wasn't many moments where it was like really fun to watch this team. It was just constant struggle on offense. And I'm with you. Just be happy, regardless if they win, lose, obviously you want to see them win some games, but regardless of that, let's just be happy to see some real organized, well put together game planned football, something that's exciting. Hopefully we have big plays, which we just didn't have a lot of last year. And, that's for like the novice football fan, right? Like just, the person that just tunes in when the season starts and they're like, wow, let's go Birds. I'm going to go to the Eagles game this week. It's not even fun for those fans, right? Like they are not enjoying that product. And, that's what I'm most excited for, is just to watch something that looks good, like a well-oiled machine. It was just so discombobulated last year, whether it was injury, scheme. I'm glad it's all gone, and I'm glad we get a fresh start. And I'm feeling rejuvenated is kind of a good word for it.
That's the perfect word for it. And that's, dude, that's why I love you, man. This is exactly what I've been trying to preach the last couple months, man. It's like, we knew what we were getting last year. And you try it every week, well, this guy's coming back from injury and we're going to be all right now. Well, we're going to run. And and it was just like, is this Groundhog's Day? The only reason I knew it was a different game was because of the uniforms. I'm like, what's happening? And it was hard. So what I've been harping on is we know it's something different. And hey, maybe they don't win on Sunday, but guess what? I think this team's actually going to come out. They're a bunch of young men that are very hungry. And we all know hungry dogs run faster. So if we strap in and just kind of temper the expectations, but get ready for a fun show, I think that you hit the nail on the head with that. That's what I'm excited about. These young men together. Got my shirt in the mail. Had to wear it. I'm more than excited about Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, both getting a lot of slack from national media, more than obviously Philly, but some Philly media, too skinny. Jalen Hurts sucks. He's a running back. That's great. Stick to Madden. And, what you said there, it's hurt so much. And even for casual fans and for guys like us, I'm deep diving every effing day, the Eagles, and I'm looking at the problems. I'm figuring out what it is. And if I could sit here week in and week out last year, and yet you're not adjusting, that's when the fans me and you get really
Yeah.
pissed because I'm not your casual fan, baby. And if they're mad, that means I'm irate. So it's like, look, dude, how am I putting so much passion and heart into this? And you guys are coming out here with your thumbs up your ass. Unacceptable. I won't have it this year. And I don't think neither will Nick Sirianni. I think he's that pep talk kind of guy. Hey, get you going. Then you got Jalen Hurts, who I think just looking at you, you're like, you know what? I should just stop sucking. You know, I just feel like he brings that energy where it's like, I want to be like him. He is a true leader, a competitor. And dude, even when people are talking trash, he's just smiling. He's laughing. They're asking him stupid questions, baiting him. He's just smiling. I welcome the competition. And he does because he's going to win. And he knew he could have won last year against Carson Wentz. He just in his mind, he is better than everyone. And whether you think that's true or not, in his mind, it was true and it holds true.
Well, that's what you want to see.
Instead of, and people are freaking out like, oh, I wanted a picture of him punching a deer in the face. It's like, what are you mad that he's out here working out? Because people get mad about workout videos. It's like, you should be happy. He's trying to shut you up to show you that he's getting better and, working with Quincy Avery. I mean, the top guys out there, he's putting in the work. And now he's got coaches that all work with quarterbacks. I think it's all been set up perfectly for him. And you said it perfectly. If he fails, which we don't want and don't think it's going to happen, you got 2, possibly 3 first-round picks next year. That's a good place to be. You got $40 million right now as we sit. $40 million in cap space next year. Now, that's going to fluctuate. Things will move around, blah, blah, blah. But that's a lot of money. So, yes, I'm excited for that
point, man. We talk about Jalen Hurts. I know this isn't talked about much, but it just seemed like guys really gravitated to him in the locker room. And I'm not saying, there was all these rumors that came out about Carson Wentz in the locker room, whatever's true, whatever's not. What I do know is that players gravitate to Jalen Hurts. And so I know if Jalen Hurts can just come out, have a decent season this year, if he doesn't completely fall on his face, that is the best case scenario for us. We go into next year with the cap space that you spoke on, the $40 million. There's going to be guys that want to play with Jalen Hurts. There's going to be guys that want to play behind this offensive line with this powerful defensive line. We got a lot of guys that have experience as well on the most important parts of the team, right? Obviously, the quarterback's lacking a little bit of experience, but when you look at that offensive line, you look at the defensive line, these are Super Bowl champions. You know what I mean? These guys were on the Super Bowl team. So we can't forget that experience. And then on top of it, when you throw in the draft picks, you're going to be able to surround. If Jalen Hurts can be the guy, which I don't get why people are being so pessimistic, you should really hope that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Because if he's the guy, we're set up so nicely for 2022 that we can bring in and put whatever Jalen Hurts wants around him. We can do whatever he wants. And you just hope he's that guy so you don't have to waste that compensation on another quarterback. So stop rooting against him. You know what I mean? I don't get that stuff. He's on
most asinine things I've seen. I'm with you, Scotty. Why? And I never understand those people. It's like, dude, I root if they're wearing Eagles green, I'm rooting for them. Exactly. If they keep falling off and they need to be held accountable, I will do that on my show every effing day. But I'm not going to be out here like some people just wild out, dude. And it's like, dude, you got. If I were a kid, I would have loved talking to these players. These kids,
they want players to fail just so that they can be right.
Be right.
I just don't get it, man. Like you're putting your like hot take that nobody's gonna care about anyways, and you're making it bigger than the team, and I just don't get that.
That's when I know they're not a diehard, Scotty. When you care more about your effing tweet, first. I can't sleep at night if they lose. I am perturbed. If you are okay because of a tweet with the Eagles losing or us failing, well, you just don't belong in this show because you're not gonna like me. I love and I breathe. Dude, I'm telling you, I eat, sleep, birds. I'm 4 for 4. I love all my sports, but dude, I'm a nut job. And you guys are all out there. You know what that's like. And other fans just don't know what we are. We're just nut jobs. And it's our passion, man. And they don't understand that. And that's okay. We're going to stay passionate and we're going to stay hungry. And look, guys, I understand if you're pessimistic. We went through some of the roughest years after reaching the pinnacle. And last year was one of the toughest years for anybody because, Corona was ruining lives and killing. It was too much. And all we wanted was, okay, football's back. Thank God it's not going. Okay, we're going to get some peace. It was one of the worst seasons I've ever watched because I had such high expectations for them to win 4 games. It really beat us up. And I get it, guys. Trust me. I'm feeling all of that. And I try to take it just like I did in 2017, laying on my deathbed. It was like, I could lay here, be miserable, or I could look at it positively and be like, what could we build toward? And boy, did we that year build towards something special. We win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
But right now, I'm not saying we win a Super Bowl, but I think we're building something. And you said it earlier. Something special is here and you can feel it. I feel it. And I think we talked about it. Let's give it a couple year plan here, guys. Let's not lose our minds. We lose week 1, week 2. Who cares? Let's see these guys fight. Watch how they play. See if they're hungry. And then we can decide if we're mad or if we're happy. But
we'll know. And, I know that we talked about it. The casual fan may not see it next season. If they're losing games, they may not be as locked in as we still are. Because I'm telling you, up until the end of the season, I was still locked in. It's sitting at 3-4 wins, a tie. Like I'm still sitting there locked in every Sunday. You get to that final game, and it's just like, man, this is the last time I'm getting up for Eagles Sunday. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be there regardless. And we'll know if these guys got it or not. Just like we knew in Carson's rookie year. You mentioned it when Doug came in after that rough 4-win season before that year. Carson came in, we revamped the roster, and you could see it. You could feel it. You could see that Carson had that extra, and I don't know what happened to Carson along the way. That's not for me to worry about now. But I'm feeling the same type of thing here. And you just hope that we can take some leaps this year. Obviously, we're not going championship hunting, but just get 1 step closer, 2 steps closer. That's all you can ask. Build it.
Yep. If you build it, they will come. It might have been Carson Wentz's problem. Anyways, so I think that if you look at this team, I'm sorry, I was going to not say anything, but I really think that we are building something special. And, we have no idea, guys, but let's, instead of being pessimistic, just try to be optimistic. We're fans. That's literally our only job, is to be fans. And we get to go back to the games this year in full capacity. So I'll be there week 2, first home game, losing my effing mind. So I hope if any of you guys are going to be there, we got to get together. We're going to be throwing it down at 4th and John. So I hope everybody, dude, it's going to be like Christmas being there. Dude, I'm telling you. Okay. So I go from almost dying, and then I have to get healthy before I can even get back to a game. Finally get to go back to games. Then Corona happens. Can't go to games. So now I'm just like, I can't. I'm never going to not, like, there's no way I can't go to games from now on. You know what I mean? I'll sell my soul just to get a ticket. I don't care.
I was the same way, man.
It's like they took something special from me, man.
I will be there week 2 with you, man. So we'll have to meet up in person finally, Jimmy. I'm excited for that as well. So I will be there. Hopefully our Eagles fans come hard, man. A lot of these, that's what I was saying about the schedule earlier, is like, yes, you want to temper expectations, but this isn't some world-beating schedule that we're running into here. I mean, yeah, we got the Bucks and the Chiefs, but outside of that, it's a lot of question marks there on our schedule. So we come out, we bring it for the players bring it for us. We just gotta always keep that Philly passion, man. It's in our nature, though. So I expect nothing less.
Yep. And I love what Jock Talk said here. And that's what we always keep in mind. And that's how it's easy. You have to kind of step out and see that. It's about the logos for us, ladies and gentlemen. And these are human beings that are playing for that logo. But also remember, they haven't grew up their whole lives dedicating to this team. They're not, we're looking at it from a different perspective. This is their money, guys. And a lot of them do become, part of the team. Jason Kelsey's, but that takes some time. So let's try to be fans more and less assholes to people, because I see it all the time, and it's like, dude, let's pump these dudes up. And look, I'm not talking about if you're in the corner crying, and look, I feel bad for you. I'm somebody that's big on mental health. I don't pick on people. I don't like seeing that stuff, but also to the extent where you need to be taken care of. So it's same with Ben Simmons. You need to be taking care of that on your off time instead of playing a game. Get help, man. If you're real, I want to see you get better, because I care about your mental health, and I do care about my team too. And I'm selfish, but that's what we're watching sports for. If not, I would have no idea who you are. So it goes hand in hand. And the same with the Eagles. I think I liked what they talked about on the whole social media front this year and everything, but I think we could be more supportive. We've all gone through some tough times, but let's back these guys up and show them, we're going to be there week 2. We're going to be behind you, and we know you're building something special. Howie, we know that you messed up, dude. You messed up big time these past few years, but you also got us a Super Bowl a few years ago. So maybe if you turn this ship around, we'll forget and we'll let you live. But I'll be real with you. It's all about all those logos. 4 for 4. I love that damn flag you got behind you, man. I've got a shirt like that. And I also, my girlfriend got me a shirt that's got, it's the Beatles Abbey Road. And it's actually the 4 mascots. Oh my God. I was like, this is the best shirt you've ever gotten me.
The shirt you got on is pretty hard, man. I like that one as well. I've been seeing that one around. I might have to grab me one.
It popped up on Devontae Smith, like right after he got drafted, he posted. I was like, and my little man's birthday was coming up. I was like, I'm going to get him one. It was like $30-$40 for one of them. I was like, but I got to get myself one too. So I paid like $80 for these. I don't know if it was that much, but it was like, but they're awesome.
They
nice
are
shirt,
awesome,
fits
I
good.
saw your little man in it, and he looked really happy. So good for him, man.
He got a little Dawk shirt too, the 4th and John one where he's got the Dawkins with the claws. So he was pumped about that. So got him going. He's going to be just as insane as me. I mean, that's what my family did to me. So
we got to keep him coming somehow, right? When we pass away, we need somebody else to fill our spot. So,
dude, my father, I think he'd be proud, man. We buried my father in his Reggie jersey. He was the most diehard of them all. But I ended up at his grave Super Bowl morning, and my cousin, his mom is actually buried right next to my dad. And we were both just happened to show up right around 6:30 in the morning. And we're like, dude, is this a sign? Like, here we go, bringing that juju. That's how ridiculous we are. We're like, we're just getting the juju from the grave.
That's an awesome feeling, dude. Like, it is. Like, we can joke about it, but
I was in tears. I've got this picture. Where is it? Of me and my cousin, dude. What the hell? Oh, I was cleaning here. There's a picture of me, and my girlfriend took a picture of me, and his girlfriend took a picture of him. But we were on the phone with each other after the Super Bowl. And I'm like on the ground. I was still crying. I couldn't talk to him. And he's like, his face is in the desk. He can't talk. But his girlfriend like called me, and my girlfriend answered. And they're like trying to get us to talk. And I'm like, I'm the most emotional I've ever felt in my entire life right now. But that picture, that whole day, just seeing him and that means the world to both of us. You know, we know our parents. We're like, they're with Reggie. They're giving us that juju, baby. It's all about, my man.
What it's all about. I'm with you. I remember when we won the Super Bowl, man. I fell to like my knees, and then like fell against the wall and was just like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, we finally got one. Like,
I was blacked out when you said it. I was like, dude, I got tears. Like, I'm telling you that. Man. That was something, because it means more to us. You know what I mean? Like, that was 30 some years of my life I waited for that. And my dad never got to see one. You know, he did see a championship though, which is crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But
might be even better. I won't say it's better, but I mean, that's pretty crazy, man.
I do. One day I'm going to get my grandpa on this show, get him to tell some of these stories, because he worked for Coca-Cola. So he would go in and fill up the stadium at Connie Mack, and he got to help like shovel. He always talks about Timmy Brown was his favorite. And he was comparing Devontae Smith to Tommy McDonald, not their height, obviously, but he was like, everybody always knocked him for being small. He's like, I think Devontae is going to come out. Dude, talking to him is a true treasure, getting to listen to his stories.
Here,
I'm telling you, I will. He just figured it out when he was up. I saw him for the first time in a couple years, which was so nice. But he was like, you got to show me how to get on this YouTube. So I was like, oh, we're going to hook you up, dude. So I got him subscribed to the channel. He's like, well, now I got stuff to watch. I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome. He's the guy that pushed me to do this as a kid. You know what I mean? So it's nice how it turns around.
Man. That's awesome.
But Scotty, you're the man, dude. And this obviously went much better than I thought. Joey Shake's going to the Niners game. Nice. I have not got to meet him. My buddy Gail told me to follow him. I need to reach out and get to know more people. With Scotty, waited forever. Finally talked to him. It's like, you gotta extend more, man. So when these games come up, I can't wait to see more of you guys, meet more of you, and hopefully just keep doing this. Scotty, we're going to have you on again.
Of course.
Can you put your name in here so I can sub up to the other guy? Yeah. Scotty Drowned is how you find him on Twitter. Do you have a YouTube channel, right?
So it's DSM Media. That's where you'll find all my content. It's best, honestly, if you have a Twitter, you can follow me on there at Scotty Drowned. I'm on Instagram. I also have Scotty Talks Philly Sports on Facebook. If anybody's familiar with, gets down on Facebook. So we can definitely follow me on there as well. All my content goes up there. But DSM Media, that's where you'll find Turf Talk, Scotty Talks NBA, Scotty Talks Philly Sports, and then Scotty Talks NFL as well. So I'm with you, man, and it's going to be fun now that we've made this connection, because you're going to get on my show. I'll be back on yours. And we'll keep on expanding, man. We'll keep on connecting. That's what it's all about.
DSM Media Jock Talk, reach out to me and I will definitely hook you up with this information. We'll get you checking it out. Heat Ratio Sports as well, but he's out there. Dax Media.
Nah, no Dax Media, nah.
DMS. Let me try this. DMS Media, right?
DSM.
DSM. See, now you got me messed up, Jock Talk.
DSM Media.
Right here for you.
Yes, sir. There we go.
Right down there. Check him out. Scotty, subscribe. Do you have any final words, though, before we head out? I truly, once again, can't thank you enough for coming on, man. It's truly been a pleasure and can't wait to have you on again.
No. Just if anybody's watching, anybody from I did send out the link. So anybody, from my followership, my listenership, make sure you're subscribed to Jimmy on the road to victory. This show's awesome. You're an awesome host, Jimmy. I appreciate you reaching out to me, building this connection, and go Birds, man. It's bird season. I'm ready. I'm with you.
Man, you got me pumped. Now I'm gonna get off and be like, so I'll just have to keep watching highlights or something. But dude, you got me stoked. And yeah, Jock Talk, you're right. It's not just you. I'm losing my mind always. You know that. But Scotty, it's been a pleasure, and we'll definitely have you on again soon. You guys know the drill. If you need anything, you just want to talk some sports, you just want to talk about life, please feel free to reach out to me. And please do me a favor, check out Scotty's work. Follow him at Twitter. Follow him on YouTube. I'm serious. He's doing great work out there. And I really look forward to, doing this more and seeing how you grow, brother. But we're going to get rolling out, guys. Hope you're all off to a great start to your weekend. And as always, go Birds!